Eurovision 2025 is just around the corner, and now is basically the time where everybody is making their tops, deciding who they want to see win in May and who is their favorite, which is not always the same. And I guess, you know, I can also hop on the trend as well. By the way, my name is Freyr. I am a Polish college student and a big Eurovision fan. I'm pretty new to the whole Eurovision content creator scene. I only started recapping the season on TikTok this year, so I would really appreciate you subscribing to the channel, liking the video, sharing it, you know, doing all of the YouTube stuff. I don't know how to do this. You can also follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm gonna leave the links to those in the description below. And now with the shameless self-promotion bit out of the way, it's time for us to set some ground rules. First of all, I'm not going to be including Israel or Azerbaijan, and if you want to know more, I really recommend this video by ESC Gabe. He kind of says all I want to say about that. Second of all, I'm going to be talking about these entries in chronological order, as in the order that they were selected in. And as we go, you know, I'll be building my top while also glazing over some entries and also completely trashing the others.
Guess what? You're a bitch.
And if that sounds good to you, let's go. Montenegro is up first, and they were the first country to select their Eurovision entry, despite the fact that they were absent from the contest for a couple of years now. Their way of selecting a Eurovision entry was a little messy. There was a lot of drama, but it allowed them to end up with a really good song. Nina Zizic will represent the country in Basel with her song Dobrodošli, which is a phenomenal Balkan ballad, and spoiler alert, the best Balkan ballad of the year.
I said what I said.
We'll get to that point again soon. The performance at the national final I thought was a little simplistic, but it worked for the song. And then the revamped version came out and only improved on what was essentially a really good song. So I was really excited about this, and I am still really excited about such a good entry coming from Montenegro. Do I think this is gonna do well? No, I think Nina got totally screwed over by the running order, but that doesn't take away from the beauty of this song. Montenegro debuts in my first place, obviously, but it's gonna stay in my top for a while. Škodra Elektronika are gonna be representing Albania in Basel with their song Zjerm. And dare I say, Albania gave us one of their greatest entries of like ever. Although Duja is very close in my opinion, I really love that song. I just love Zjerm so much. It represents so many of my favorite things about Eurovision. It's experimental, it has those traditional musical influences to it, it's sung in their native language, and also incredibly fierce. Also, this is one of those songs that the more you dig in, the more you find. The message of Zjerm combined with the album cover, which is the outline of the Škodra mental hospital, incredible. On a musical level, this is just perfection, but I also really love this performance. The contraposition between Beatrice's dance break and Cole's spoken word part works so well in my opinion. I love the aesthetic, I love the passion, Zjerm is iconic, and I'm so happy it won FIK instead of a certain someone. And also, this has my favorite dance break of the year. I mean, we don't really have that many, come to think of it, but like, this is iconic. I don't think it's gonna be a surprise when I say that Albania debuts in my first place, knocking Montenegro down a place. Luxembourg is up next with Laura Thorne and La Poupée Monte le Son. This song references a singer that won Eurovision for Luxembourg before, that being Frans Gaal, which I found really cool. This song really shined in the performance, but the song itself, I never connected with this one. It's a nice song, don't get me wrong. It's nicely produced, but it just never clicked for me. It is catchy, but it's one of those that stays in your head and you want it to go away. Like, you want it to desperately leave. There's one more song like that this year that we'll get onto a little later, but, you know, we'll get there. I just don't find much about La Poupée monte le son that works for me. And unfortunately, as a result, Luxembourg debuted in my last place so far. I don't really feel anything towards this entry. Up next, we have Greece with Asteromata by Klovdia. This year, we got a lot, and I mean a lot, of ballads. And in comparison to all of them on the musical front, for me, Asteromata is kind of in the middle. But it also manages to stand out specifically on the lyrical front. This is a gorgeous piece of poetry that has a very deep underlying message. Basically, this song may be interpreted as one telling the story of the people fleeing from the Pontic genocide, which was carried out by the Ottoman Empire. That adds a really deep and also, I think, needed layer to this song. I also think that Klovdia's voice is absolutely amazing. One thing I don't get about this song is the performance, though. Klovdia, during the national final, she sounded amazing, but the performance was just so static, and the dancers just laying there for 3 minutes. Like, I could do that job. I would be amazing at that job, just laying there for 3 minutes, not moving an inch, and then you just walk off stage. Overall, I do really like Asteromata, but it's gonna debut in my 3rd place.
How much time do we have left together? We never know.
Speaking of ballads, the Snooze Fest entry of the year is here, I guess.
State your name and your media house.
Clement will represent Slovenia with How Much Time Do We Have Left, and Slovenia, girl, this is not it. This song sends you to sleep. Nothing happens for 3 full minutes. Nothing. It's nothing on nothing on nothing. A nothing burger, if you will. The performance too. Why is he singing upside down? Like, am I missing something? Or what? I don't know. I'm not gonna obviously ignore the message of it. I think this song is beautiful on the lyrical front, but that's like the only thing that makes it a decent song. So, to no one's surprise, Slovenia lands dead last in my ranking. Is it gonna stay there though? You'll have to see. Our helicopter diva Melody is up next with her song Esa Diva representing Spain. And I gotta admit something. Esa Diva kind of grew on me after it won. Like, at first I didn't get it at all. I thought it was trashy. It just like not a good song to send to the contest. It was dated, just really uninteresting, and also something that we've seen before time and time again. As time went on, Esa Diva started kind of clicking. It was never gonna be my favorite, don't get me wrong, but I listened to it from time to time, and then the revamp happened. And all the love I've had for this entry was just eviscerated. But I don't know, this is just so soulless. It lacks personality. It just like, it doesn't do anything for me. And as a result, Esa Diva lands in my 2nd to last place. It's much, much worse than Luxembourg, but at least keeps my attention, unlike Slovenia. The next country we're going to be talking is Belgium. Red Sebastian with Strobe Lads. This entry has lived kind of a weird life in this fandom. People seemed to like really like it when it was chosen, and then no one talked about it since. It's a great electropop song with a good vocal and a good performance. I like the red lights, the fast camera flashes, the high notes, but I don't know. there's just something that, I don't know. I find myself disconnected from this entry, to be honest. Like, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It just doesn't speak to me. And that's weird because typically I do like electropop. I guess this is not a valid criteria to judge a song on, but to rank a song high, I need to have some sort of connection with it. And I just don't with this one. Belgium, unfortunately, is going to go under Greece for me. It's a good song, but not great. Oh, Ireland. What are we gonna do with you? Do you remember how I talked about Luxembourg and said that because a song is catchy, that doesn't mean it's good? Well, this was the entry that I was also thinking about. Like a Party by Emmy is gonna represent Finland? Ireland is gonna represent Ireland, and I don't like this. I actually really, really dislike this. Sorry. It sticks in your head for days and then it just refuses to leave. And I hate that. Like, send me to an asylum at this point. I want this song out of my head. Also, the lyrics of the song are like, girl, no. Laika is not having a party in space. She died of hypothermia. Why are we singing about a dead dog sent to space by the Soviets having a party in the sky? It honestly, it's giving AI to me. Like, I know this song wasn't written by AI, but this is giving to me like something that AI would have written, and that's a big red flag. But this song is just not it. This is what my AI haters thought my AI was, and I liked my AI. And I'm gonna put it... I'm gonna put it above Spain. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that seems appropriate. This stretch of songs was honestly kind of a struggle to get through, but we're finally coming up because Erika Wickman is gonna represent Finland with her song Ich komme, and I am in love. I am in love with this song. This, and I kid you not, this is my most streamed song of all time. I've streamed this so much in the past couple of months that it's now my most streamed song of all time. This is the catchiest and the most fun song we've had so far, and probably we had this year. I just really love how openly horny this entry is, but there is also this message of self-love in there, which I also really, really love. And the performance with Erika, you know, flying on the microphone, doing her little like cunty walk. I am obsessed with Erika Wickman. This performance, this song, this woman is just, it's pure perfection. So honestly, listen, to quote Petra Miede, Europe, grab your towels because it's time to come together.
Grab your towels, it's time to come together.
Finland debuts in my first place.
I do it all the time, yeah, I do it all the time. Serving.
Mariana Conte, no matter how many times people try to sabotage you, you will always be an icon to this fandom. This diva is going to represent Malta with her song Serving. Obviously, the lyric change has to be mentioned because that was really, really horrible, and I hate that it happened, and I hate that it was required. But I still stream the old version, so I kind of don't mind. And I also don't think that there is that much difference between the two. Like, it's not that different. It's just one word being removed, even though it's horrible. And I wish that she could have sang Serving Cunt at Eurovision.
Honey, because we have each other. Happiness isn't about buying expensive things. It's about being together.
This song is a really, really good pop entry. It's full of personality and it's just so fun. If you feel bad about yourself, like ever, just put on Serving or Ich komme and your self-confidence levels are gonna double. I love this song so much and I think it will be remembered as a cult classic, honestly, for years. And that national fandom performance as well just cemented this as like one of the most iconic things I think I've ever seen. Like, from the ukulele showing up and the reference to Sound of Music to then performing on fitness balls, like, This was so insane. The mind of Mariana Conte needs to be studied. Malta debutes right below Montenegro for me. I love the song. I just love some others a little bit more, but Storming is more than iconic. Now it's time to talk about one of my musical hear me outs of the year, that being Latvia with Tautometas and their song Burman Laimi. Now, what I mean by that is this song doesn't seem to be connecting for a lot of people. Not many people get this, but I do, and I am obsessed with this.
And clap.
If you know me, you know that I love traditional and folk songs, and guess what Burman Laimi is? I love seeing stuff like this in the contest, and especially this. This is just so like ethereal. The 6 of them are like literal fairies just dancing through the woods, singing about a path made of oak. This entry is one of the most beautiful and cinematic things I've seen in a while. And this performance is also just pure perfection. Like these parts specifically, when they're like running and there is the lighting effects on the staging, they look like something straight out of, there's a hair in my, like scenes straight out of like Narnia Chronicles or something like that. I adore this song so much. And this is also like the first time Latvia is ever singing in Latvian since 2004, I believe. So this is a move in a right direction, and I hope it pays off. It won't surprise you that I am putting this entry high in my ranking. Obviously, I love Ich komme. I adore Ich komme. I don't think I love this more than Ich komme. I'm gonna be bold, and I'm gonna put this in my second place. Some of you are not gonna understand this choice, but listen, that is not for you to get. This is ethereal, and if this fails to qualify, you will hear about me on the news.
I'm begging you, please just leave.
Now we're gonna talk about Ukraine. They're gonna be represented by Cyfr with their song Bird of Prey, and this one, the reception of this entry in the fandom has been really interesting to watch. At first, when this won Vidbir, the reception in the fandom was really, really bad. Many people were saying that this will be Ukraine's first ever non-qualification, which, well, bets, sure, whatever you say.
Okay, so there's some education that needs to be done. I can see that.
I love to disagree with people, so you can imagine my opinion on that. Bird of Prey, in my opinion, is a great song. I feel like it isn't necessarily the style of music that I tend to enjoy, but it doesn't stop me from appreciating the artistry behind it. I really want to shout out the parts in Ukrainian specifically. They really scratch my brain in all the right ways. This is a very emotional song, and I feel like more people need to get on board with it. I also think that this honestly could be an underdog in this year's edition. Like, I could see this doing well. Overall, I'm gonna award Cyfr a place right under Greece. It's finally time for me to talk about my own country, that being Poland. We selected Justyna Steczkowska with her song Gaia, and low-key, this was a really emotional one for me. Being a Polish Euro fan, you have to imagine that was like a non-stop torture for the past few years. First, the Rafał Brzozowski disaster in 2021. Then, Ochman in 2022, who was good, but I felt like the song just didn't really reflect his talents. I mean, Ochman is a trained opera singer, and that song was just kind of like, I feel like we didn't use his talents to the fullest. And the staging was also horrible. Then 2023 rolled around, and we all know what happened there. This was a funny meme, but like far from being an actual good song. And also that year, our national final was famously rigged to prevent Jan from winning. And finally, last year, we got a good song with a really good artist in the form of Luna, who was relentlessly bullied by the Polish media and unfortunately failed to qualify in Malmo because the vocal just wasn't very good. So, enter 2025. I'm a Polish Euro fan, sitting at home being like, whatever. At this point, I've just lost all hope.
I lost all hope today.
You lost all hope there, didn't you?
And the refreshed TVP happens. We get a new national final. And finally, we get an entry that is a full package that is ready to be put on a Eurovision stage. Justyna Steczkowska is an absolute legend in Poland, and she really lived up to the hype. Gaia is a song tailor-made for Eurovision. It's full of energy. It references our culture in a way that makes it very accessible to others. It's so camp, so fierce. Also, here's a question for you guys watching. What is Justyna doing in this performance while also being 52 years of age? The answer A is flying in the air while performing whistle notes. Answer B is doing the Witch Taro Horror choreo while doing high notes and screams. And answer C, spinning while holding a note for probably more than 10 seconds. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to write down your answer, okay? Okay, done. All three of these are correct. I am obsessed with this song, with this performance, with Justyna, and as a Pole, I'm just extremely proud of this entry. Poland debuts in my second place. This is the highest I've ever had my own country in my rankings. So this feels like a special one. Time for Estonia, and they're gonna be represented by Tommy Cash with Espresso Macchiato. And I think it's time for me to get something off my chest. I don't like this at all.
People think I'm a bitch and I'm not. I'm really nice and I'm really beautiful and talented.
This is a joke entry, and usually I'm really here for joke entries when they are funny. This just doesn't really hit me in any way, shape, or form. The instrumental is just not appealing at all. His voice isn't that great. The live performance was also really, really bad. And this song is also not that hard to sing, so what's the excuse now? There's just nothing in this that appeals to me. From the staging, to the song, to the act that Tommy put on during Estilal. I'm sorry, I tried to give this a shot, but I would be lying to myself if I said I like this. So unfortunately, Estonia is gonna land itself in my second to last place.
I'll be my own lighter. Nothing can burn me now.
Norway is up next with Carl Alessandro. Lighter is a very standard pop song that has some influences that make it a little bit more specific to the country that it comes from, which I think is good. I also think that Lighter is just a nice song. In the studio, I don't find it that amazing, but that performance at the national final, perfection. I just loved the staging, the vibe, the costumes, the vocals. Everything was perfect. I think this is one of those songs that in the studio, people typically seem to like it, but everybody will be losing their minds when they see this live in Basel. I'm really hopeful about this entry. I think it's gonna qualify and I think it's gonna do well, so it lands itself right under Greece. Lithuania is where we're heading next, and we're going to be talking about Tavo Akis by Catharsis. I actually really like this song, even if it's not the vibe that, again, I typically go for in music. It's so unique and just pure quality, which is, I guess, something that I've come to expect from Lithuania at this point. They've been really sending some good stuff to the contest.
And clap!
The main critique of Tavo Akis that I've seen online is that it gets repetitive with the whole Tavo thing being repeated for half of the song. But honestly, I think that works very well as a build-up because as those words get repeated, you get that extra kick in the instrumentation. The volume increases, you know, he starts screaming at one point. Actually, I don't find that song repetitive at all. I think it's really, really captivating. And I think it's gonna stand out so much in Basel. Like, there's nothing that has a remotely similar vibe to Tavakis. So I'm gonna place Lithuania like right between Norway and Greece. Ooh. Some people will be really angry with me on this next one. We're gonna be talking about Italy with Lucio Corsi and Volevo essere duro, which is an incredible song. I am obsessed with this song. It has this like nostalgic feel to it, which again I adore, and also has some of my favorite lyrics of the year. The closing line being, "But I'm just Lucio," is really, really poetic, really, really beautiful. I just also really, really love how simple the performance at Sanremo was. Like, this doesn't need bells and whistles. This really should just be like Lucio performing the song, you know, playing an instrument or singing, playing the guitar, playing the harmonica. That works so well for this song. I also really love Lucio's style. I think he's giving kind of like Italian David Bowie vibes, and I am just really, really obsessed. So I'm gonna put this in my 5th place.
I'm a survivor, stay alive, do or die, my friend, I'm a fighter.
Oh, Armenia, what are we gonna do with you? Park was chosen to represent the country with his song Survivor, and this song is awful, honestly. It's giving like Imagine Dragons Reject, and I mean some parts are clearly modeled after Believer. It's dated and a complete mess. Also, this is probably the worst lyrics of any song this year. I mean, there is one more contender for that title, but you know, we'll get there. So I want to officially invite you to Freyr Story Hour, where today we will be reading the beautiful, beautiful poetry that are the lyrics of Survivor by Park. I got my bat shades on. Jet black. I'm in my zone. I'm sick of the news. Sick of the views. I'm sick of the lies they've told. I'm a survivor. Staying alive. Do or die in my prime. I'm a fighter. I'm a survivor. You want to know how many people wrote this song? This took 7 people. 7 people wrote this. What the actual hell? And mind you, the list of songwriters for this includes Benjamin Jordan Alassiu, who co-wrote The Code, as in the winner for Switzerland last year. This also has Peter Bostrom, I apologize if I butchered the name, who co-wrote Tattoo and Euphoria. And there's also Thomas Giessen, who also co-wrote Tattoo, although his recent efforts have not been like the best, but still. Like 7 people, and you couldn't think of anything better than Jet Black, I'm in my zone. Armenia lands itself above Slovenia, second to last, but barely missing the last spot. After I had just went on a tangent about one entry, luckily now I get to talk about one that I prefer a little bit more, which is Iceland. That is Vab with their song Roa. I gotta admit a bias towards them. I find them so captivating and so fun. Their personalities are just so fun to watch, and that translates well in their song.
And clap!
It's so much fun, it's energetic, keeps you on your toes the whole time. This is just such a vibe. And the performance is also super fun with the fake violin, the boat thing, the silver costumes, the glasses obviously. Everything seems to be just tailor-made for Eurovision, and I love this. So I'm gonna place it in my 6th place. Australia will be represented by Gojo with his song Milkshake Man. And this is one of those songs that I was really not a fan at first. I was just kind of creeped out by it, honestly. But it has really grown on me. This is an example of like more interesting pop music that I honestly want in the contest. The production is also so cool. I especially really love the kind of distorted sounds that are there in the bridge. The lyrics are filled to the brim with sexual innuendos. And listen, one thing this song isn't is apologetic. As a result, I'm gonna place Australia like right below Ukraine. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Next, we're gonna go to the Netherlands, where Claude was selected to represent the country with C'est la vie. When it comes to commercially appealing songs, this one, in my opinion, tops the load of them. It's very, very accessible and sounds like something that would be making numbers in your local radio station. It's really polished, especially on the production side of things. But this is another example of a song that I'm just not really connecting with it. Maybe it's because of how like accessible it is that I'm just like, I don't know. Also, you might have noticed that I do really like to look at the lyrics, and the lyrics to this one, I speak French, and I can tell you that this is like A1 level of French. Like this, I could have written that after 2 weeks of studying French.
People think I'm a bitch and I'm not. I'm really nice and I'm really beautiful and talented.
The song, in my opinion, is really carried by Claude's voice and the production, which I have nothing against. These parts are really just like 10 out of 10. But on the lyrical front, I just don't really connect with this at all. The song is gonna land in my 14th place.
Ew!
Imagine waiting for the final of PZE and knowing that it's either gonna be Tam, Harem Girls, Mimi Mercedes, like Bojana and David even, or Vukaila, and everything is gonna be great. And then comes in Prince with his song Mila and wins.
This is not good. Why are you saying this?
Girl, this is not what I wanted to see from Serbia, and this is apparently something that the Serbians also didn't want to see.
But they have been telling lies about me and I think it is you.
I've not seen a single Serbian person say anything good about this guy. And that kind of shows you how bad this participation is. Mila is just so damn dated. Like, it would be a nice option for this contest, like, I don't know, 20 years ago. And even on the front of like Balkan ballads, this loses to Montenegro in my opinion. I think Dobrodošli is like 3 times better than this. The staging for it was also awful, just so kitsch and just like, what are we even doing here? The only good thing about this song is Prince's voice. He's a very good singer. Good person though. I'm not sure. Serbia debuts last in my ranking. Okay, now I was in a desperate need of a pick-me-up, and thankfully Sissel from Denmark delivered with her song Hallucination. This is a straight down the line pop song, but one that is really well made at that. This is really well produced. This sounds like something that honestly would be put out by like a big pop star. Like, think of like Dua Lipa or Tate McRae, you know, that kind of vibe. Or maybe Tate, no, because I think she's more into like the... I don't know. But this is a banger that rides the energy levels like it's a ride at Disneyland. The performance at the national final was a bit of a mess, but one thing that no one could say anything about was Sissel's vocals. This girl can sing with a big S. I really like this song. I think it's a banger. It's not like my favorite. It's never gonna be my favorite. But this is something that you put on when you want to have a good time. And I'm having a good time listening to it every single time it comes on. Denmark debuts 14th in my ranking. Germany is up next with Boller by Abor and Tina. Despite the fact that their national selection was a total mess, and you'll hear me yap about that quite soon, they managed to select a really good entry. Like, Stefan Raab You've hurt me a lot this year.
This is not good. Why are you saying this?
But at least you got a good song to Eurovision, you know?
And clap!
So I guess we're even. Bowler is an absolute banger, but when I'm judging it, I specifically want to talk about the version that has the violin intro. Like, that is the superior version, and I need it on streaming now. The live vocals of Bowler are a bit of a worry for me, but I trust that they can get it together. I mean, Tina said that she was like sick on the day of the final of Szepsache ESC, so I trust that she can get it together. I also just really like how German this feels. Germany, well, first of all, it feels German because it's finally a German entry that is sung in German, but also like the kind of, you know, German rave vibe that I'm getting from this. I really, really appreciate that, and I actually think this is such a cool addition to the contest. Germany debuts in my 11th place. Croatia. No, I don't want to have a bite of the poison cake. Marko Božňák is gonna represent the country with his song Poison Cake, as I just mentioned, and I don't like this at all. This song is incredibly disjointed and just not anything I would ever choose to listen to. I've not seen a single person on my timeline that likes it. Like, not a single one.
But they have been telling lies about me, and I think it is you.
The performance too, such a total mess. And listen, I really like Marko. I think he's a really cool and really talented artist, but this is just not the way to go. Also, he gave us one of the worst vocal moments of the season. And mind you, he is a phenomenal singer. Like, we know he can sing. It's just, this song feels to me like a waste of his talent and potential. I feel like he could do like a really, really nice Balkan ballad, and he would be in contention to be like top 10 with the juries. But this instead is in contention to place last in the semi. Croatia debuts in my 22nd place. Austria is up next with their song Wasted Love, sung by JJ, and we have to be honest here, this is a pretty epic entry to send. Listen, I personally don't find myself returning to a lot, but the technicality of it makes me really appreciate it more. The opera part, I like it. I guess I appreciate it a lot. I'm not like an opera fan. I guess like it's the same thing with like Grande Amore by Il Volo, where I just don't really listen to that kind of music. I appreciate it in a live performance though. It takes a lot of skill to be able to do those things that JJ and Ivolo are able to do. However, I doubt that JJ is as much of a specialist in redecorating hotel rooms as Ivolo are. Allegedly. And as a result, I think that Wasted Love is an entry that I personally don't feel strong emotions towards, but it's an entry that really impresses me. And as a result, I'm gonna put Austria in my 7th place.
Kiss, kiss, goodbye. Kiss, kiss, goodbye.
Adonis with Kiss Kiss Goodbye is gonna be the representative this year. And I'm sure I'm gonna get some interesting comments after saying this, but I just never really got this song. Like, Adonis's voice is the highlight for me. Like, he is incredibly talented. The story of it too, I find really, really heartbreaking, but also really beautiful. And I think Adonis is so brave for sharing it like this in his art. This is just not the style of music that I tend to enjoy. This kind of like Teddy Swims kind of vibe. It's just not for me, even if the vocal is amazing. I am also a certified hater of that dance break. I just don't think it was necessary, especially with the vibe of the song. This is like a ballad, and then you're suddenly doing like TikTok dance in the middle of it. I much rather would have liked to see like an instrumental break, maybe like something that was a bit orchestral or something like that. I think that honestly would have been so cool and added to the classiness of this entry. And as a result, I would probably rank it much higher. But that unfortunately isn't the case, so Czechia is gonna debut in my 19th place.
What the hell just happened?
The United Kingdom is up next, and well, if I say I kinda like this. What the Hell Just Happened by Remember Monday definitely lives up to its name. It is a little disjointed, sure, but it's disjointed in a fun way. It kind of reminds me of like early day Little Mix a bit. I also think that the Party Girl anthem theme that they clearly went for really works with a little chaos in the production. This is fun. And also the three of them are just so incredibly talented. Their voices are going to be the selling point of this song. I do kind of like it, but it's also not a song that I come back to often. So as a result, I'm going to put them in 18th. Sweden, thank you so much for finally choosing something different, something unserious, something fun.
And clap!
Who knew I needed 3 guys on stage singing about going to a sauna to finally start stunning Sweden? Bara Bada Bastu by Kai is so much fun. And they are just so charismatic on stage. I really love these guys so much. The song is just incredibly catchy, but it's catchy in that good way. Where like, you don't want it to leave your head because it's just so much fun. This also has one of my favorite national final performances of the year. The dance is fun. The song is also really good in the studio version as well, which I also really appreciate. I listened to this on loop. And finally, Sweden is singing in Swedish for the first time, like I think this century. Sweden debuts in my 7th place. San Marino. San Marino, I love you. Please never change. I love you guys so much. I love this national final. I love you as a Eurovision country. Never leave, never change, please. Like, you guys took a San Remo theme song and turned it into a Eurovision entry. This is so iconic, and honestly, Tutta Italia is the banger that we didn't know we needed, but we all did. San Marino in Eurovision just can't help but to be iconic, and so is Tutta Italia by Gabri Ponte. This song celebrates Italy for all things Italian, and it does it in a very spectacular fashion. Also, I feel like we have to mention that Gabri Ponte was in Eiffel 65 and helped make this song. Why is no one talking about this? Like, this is major. What do you mean? Insane. San Marino, you did your job and you did it well. You're getting awarded with 13th place as a result. Good job, guys. I really love this song. I am so excited to talk about this entry from Portugal, which is Deslocado by Napa. This entry was a little controversial when it won, but since then, this has grown on me more than probably any other entry this year. I just really love the vibe of this one. This instrumental communicates this kind of sense of longing, but there's also this like summer energy. It all feels very nostalgic, also calming in a way, like reassuring. You can almost feel like the breeze coming from the sea, the palm trees swinging in the wind, you know. The first time I ever reviewed this entry on TikTok, I started crying while recording my review for it. This song obviously means so much to immigrants all over the world. I think that's such an important message to have. There are songs like this that just kind of remind you that no matter what happens, you can always go back home, and like it's just, oh my god. This is a really, really beautiful song. I feel it on such a specific level. I kind of feel like I needed to hear this. This is a good, more low-key song that is here for the arts and not for the charts.
And clap!
And I know some of you guys are gonna look at me like I'm an idiot, like I'm crazy after I do this, but frankly, it's worth it. Deslocado debuts in my first place. This song spoke to me like no other this year, and it deserves to be here. 4 songs left to go, and now we're gonna move on to our host country, Switzerland. They're gonna be represented by Zoeme with her song Voyage. And listen, I love a good ballad, but this is just absolutely ethereal. This kind of reminded me of like Victoria back in 2020 and 2021, but for some reason it clicked for me even more than Victoria's songs. I love how soft it is, It almost feels like a warm blanket, and Zoe's voice is just absolutely amazing. This song is honestly like the equivalent of a hug. I also find it to be one of my favorite entries of the year when it comes to the lyrical content of it. Especially this pre-chorus part with Tu comprendras un jour que les fleurs sont plus belles comme tous les arroses, tu m'as coupé tellement de fois. Poetry, like Shakespeare wishes.
And clap!
I adore this so much, and I also love Zoe. She is just like the nicest person ever. I've gotten to talk to her on social media, and she's also commented on my stuff before, and she's just like the most lovely person. And listen, as a result, Switzerland debuts in my 3rd place. I love this song so much. Unfortunately, now we're gonna have to talk about Cyprus. They're gonna be represented by Theo Even with his song Hush or Shh. I don't know which one. I'm going to start with things that I like about this. This instrumental is fire, and that's the end of things I like about this. Why would you give a girl bop to a man? I'm not saying a woman would have completely saved this, but I think it would make a little more sense. This is also another contender for the worst written song of the year. And I want to invite you again to Freyr Story Hour, where today we're going to be reading the lyrics to Hush by Theo Even, or Shh. I don't know which one, actually. I've got golden locks and eyes so captivating. I am famous for my beauty. Who am I? I've been told I'm a little overconfident, and this will be my downfall. Who am I? First of all, you don't have golden locks. Overconfident, maybe. Hush, hush. If you know my name, then please don't repeat it. Hush, hush. If you know my name, then keep it a secret, which I don't really get what this means, actually. Like, are you having a secret affair or something? Like, what is this? And then we get to my favorite part. In the ground, in the sky, in the afterlife. In the dark, in the light, in the sweet divine. Hush, 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 hush. So what does this mean? Because I just really don't... I don't understand what these lyrics mean. Like, are you having an affair? Also, this entire chorus just doesn't make sense to me. Like, what is this song about? And the worst part about this is written by like 5 people, I think. Yes, Dimitris Kontopoulos, Elketiel, Elsie Bay, Las Minstian Niman, and Linda Dale. Mind you, Dimitris Kontopoulos, he's written some girl bobs before. He wrote, for example, Liar last year. He wrote Shady Lady by Ani Lorak. He wrote, a bunch of Russian entries. That's a little okay. He also wrote Sugar by Natalia Gordienko. Elsie Bay is really well known in this fandom for example, her songs like Drowning in the Rain or Love Me in a Dream, which were all much better than this. And then you have Lasse Mitzian Niman and Linda Dale, who both co-wrote The Code. So what went wrong? You had some really, really good lyricists in the room, and this is what you come up with. Just going back to the song, because I went on a bit of a tangent about the lyrics. I have a lot of doubts on whether he can actually sing the song live, because that per party performance.
Hush, hush, if you know my name, then please don't repeat.
Cyprus, as a result, lands in 30th place. Just 2 more songs left, and the next one is Georgia. They're gonna be represented by Mariam Shangelia with her song Freedom, and I hate this.
This is not good. Why are you saying this?
Fuck you!
First, I'm gonna start with this on just the musical level alone. This is so incoherent and so incredibly boring at the same time. Like, how do you make such a mess of a song and then also make it so boring? Like, that's a skill, my friend. Also, this song is obviously really terrible for other reasons as well. It is heavily speculated, and I say speculated very loosely because it's basically almost confirmed, that this refers to the Georgian dream values, meaning that basically Mariam Shangelia is following the footsteps of people like Polina Gagarina and just in general like Russia as a country in Eurovision in the 2010s. sending a peace ballad. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I think the social context is really important when talking about the song. And if you're talking about the song with the isolation from the obvious political context that it is in, this is still just so horrible. It honestly seems like when they were making it, they just kept on recording and just pressed send when they were submitting it and never listened to it back. And as a result, this is gonna land in my last place. I never want to hear this song ever again.
And clap!
We just spoke about basically the worst song of the year, so time to finish with one of the best songs of the year. France is gonna be represented by Luan with her song Maman. Just the raw emotion when Luan sings, especially in the bridge, gives me chills almost every time. This is one of the most beautiful songs of the year when it comes to the lyrics as well. This song to me feels almost like Luan recapping her life to her mother who she lost, and also telling her about her experience of being a mother herself now. The vocals are on point, and then when you top it all off with Luan's daughter saying maman at the end, I will never forget listening to this for the first time. I was sobbing by the end. Yeah, I mean, these lyrics, just look at this. Je veux mieux, je sais où je veux. J'ai arrêté de compter les années. Et si j'ai voulu arrêter le temps, maintenant c'est moi qu'elle appelle maman. Emotional damage. This is incredible, and my final verdict is that I'm gonna put this song in my second place. And there you have it. This is my final ranking. Let me know if you would change anything and drop your rankings below. Please remember to subscribe, ring the notification bell, leave a comment on whether you liked my tangents about how horrible some of these songs are, and I don't know, all the YouTube stuff. And I will see you again very, very soon for a ranking of national finals that happened this year. But until then, bye!